What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Observant Lineman. I am your Observant Lineman, Uche Nwaneri. Do me a favor, if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video if you end up liking the content that I give you. The YouTube algorithm is a son of a gun, and it is tighter than ever, suppressing independent sports broadcasting and sports commentary content creators such as myself. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, and here we go. So, as everybody knows by now, the Dallas Cowboys have hired Mike McCarthy as their new head coach in Dallas, ending the era of Jason Garrett and now beginning the era of McCarthy, one that we saw stale and erode in Green Bay over the course of so many years with Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback position. Even after getting a Super Bowl ring, this guy did not last long in Green Bay, and they ushered him out the door, much to the joy of Aaron Rodgers. And here we now have, a year and some change later, Jerry Jones has made the decision to bring in Mike McCarthy as his new head of state in the Dallas Cowboys Jerry world. Now, for me, I think that this is really not a it's not a sexy hire, of course. It's not a flashy hire for the Cowboys, but in all honesty, this really to me amounts to be just a Jason Garrett 2.0, because now you have another head coach that's being brought in, an offensive-minded head coach who does not truly have that motivating personality that you look for in a head coach. A head coach is supposed to be that person that the entire locker room, the entire organization can look to for motivation and look to rally the players and galvanize the team in times of stress, in times of adversity. And that's just not something that Mike McCarthy is well known for. He's just another guy. And for Jerry Jones, this is the perfect match for him, because it's another guy that he can step on whenever he feels like he needs to interject in the chemistry or in the flow of the franchise. If you look at what's going on in Dallas right now, this is a franchise that is kind of stuck in a rut that it can't get itself out of. And really, the problem boils down to the owner. If you check out the link down below, I have a link to the Reddit post that I put up giving my interpretation of how I felt the Cowboys were completely hamstrung as an organization because of Jerry Jones. It got some good traction on Reddit, so take a look at that link down below when you get a chance and let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But here we have an article from Bleacher Report stating pretty much the same thing that I went through with my Reddit post. Dallas Cowboys start a new era with Mike McCarthy, but Jerry Jones remains the problem. And there are a couple parts of this article that I want to go through and talk to you about that I think are excellent points to demonstrate that even though they've hired this new coach, even though they have a coach that really does have solid credentials as a winner with his record, with his Super Bowl championship, with his somewhat creative style of offense, it doesn't really change the fact that the Cowboys are now running into a situation where they have another coach that they have put in charge of this team, who's really at the end of the day not going to be the authority that everyone wants him to be. He's not going to be the motivator that everyone needs him to be. And at the end of the day, it's going to once again be the Cowboys running in circles and underperforming and not really being able to play to the potential that this team full of Pro Bowl talent, the most Pro Bowl players on any NFL franchise over the last 15 plus years, they're just not going to be able to reach that potential that we all think that they should be playing at year in and year out. But let's take a look at the article. Mike McCarthy can help the Cowboys become contenders right away, so he is precisely what Jones wants, except for one little detail. Jones also wants to be the one in control. If the Garrett decade taught us anything, it's that the ideal Cowboys coach is a company man, a glorified Waylon Smithers to blow the whistle during practices and attend all the boring meetings while the owner makes all the big time decisions. Jones signs the players, courts the free agents, and commands the draft war room. Jones reserves the right to meddle with things like the running back rotation, which should be 100% within the coaching staff's purview. The only person in Dallas with the power to veto Jones, stopping him at the last second from drafting Johnny Manziel, for example, is his son, Team Chief Operating Officer Stephen Jones. The Cowboys organization chart is a family tree, and the official team website makes no attempts to hide it. All the scouting and personnel executives not named Jones are not even listed. As if they really don't exist. The Cowboys are more of a kingdom than a football franchise, as the bizarre decision to lock Garrett in the Tower of London for a week instead of just dismissing him on Black Monday illustrates. Embarrassing things like that happen because no one has the authority or the courage to tell Jones just how embarrassing they are. If there's one thing that every king hates, it's abdicating power to someone with their own ideas about how to run the kingdom. Former Cowboys quarterback turned Fox analyst Troy Aikman said as much in December when asked if he would consider a role as the team's general manager. Quote, "It's unlikely that Jerry will ever bring somebody in that can help this football team in that regard just because he's been real stubborn and steadfast and that he's the one in charge." And that's true. And I think that that is the biggest part that you have to take from this article on what the Cowboys really need in their organization. They really need for Jerry Jones to let go of the reins. Jerry Jones needs to let go of the power that he holds as the owner and allow his coaches to do the job that he pays them to do. Allow his coaches the flexibility and the unilateral decision-making that other teams allow their head coaches, that give them the ability to build their rosters, motivate their players, become the authoritative figure who is both the praiser of his players as well as executioner of the team's rules and the team's policies so that he can have the respect of the players from top to bottom. And when you don't have that kind of dynamic where players respect the coach, where players know that everything begins and ends with the coach in terms of production on the field and how the depth chart is arranged, then you don't have a team that's really willing to battle for that coach when it's time to make tough decisions and make big plays throughout any course of a game. You don't have that kind of decision-making power when you have the Emperor Palpatine of the National Football League, Jerry Jones, in his glass tower, looking down from the Death Star on any one of his lieutenants or generals who are trying to make decisions that are the best for the empire.
I am the Senate.
And for this guy to hire someone who he knows he can just step on at any time he really feels he needs to, it just shows that Jerry hasn't learned a single thing about what he wants to do with this franchise. In the end, for better or worse, Jerry Jones is responsible for many of the failings of the Dallas Cowboys simply because he is the biggest fan of the Dallas Cowboys. Until he decides to let go of power and allow his head coach to operate with the unilateral flexibility that every head coach in the NFL is basically allowed to operate with, it's going to be hard for them to see any success as a team that constantly sees players circumventing the head coach to go to the owner, a team that constantly sees coaches who are scared to be truthful about what's going on in the franchise because they know that the emperor at the top of the tower is the one that they have to answer to. And for many coaches, you'll just see a revolving door in which you'll have new guys come in who just bring you the same kind of dynamic and who don't allow for any true cohesiveness within the coaching staff. And that, at the end of the day, dooms the team to be mediocre forever. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. I'm your Observant Lineman, Uche Nwaneri. I appreciate you very much, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.